Hello, and welcome to this episode of the Build Your Coaching Business Around the 9 to 5 podcast. Today's episode, I'm going to be discussing something that's come up in a lot of the DMs that I've seen from people who've been talking to me about their coaching business, who want to grow their coaching business. They're either in the 9 to 5 or they want to stay out of the 9 to 5. And the quote, "It should be working already, something's missing," has been coming up consistently. And I want to address this because this is something that I have worked through in my own coaching business. And I want to let you know that that thought, that line of thinking only ever leads one way. And there is a duality to this because I'm just going to say it in the very first couple of minutes. Sometimes something actually is missing in your business, but most of the time, that isn't the point. So let's dive into this. What do I mean by that? How is it that I'm sat here as a coach telling you that maybe something is missing? This is what I like to call being really honest and upfront with you. One of the things that my clients absolutely love about me is that I really do bridge the gap between spirituality and reality. I talk to you both from an energetic perspective, highly spiritual, very love and light perspective, but also there is a shadow side to all of this beautiful work that we do. I need to address that. And then on the very pragmatic side, in the 3D, the mechanics of selling, of products in the marketplace, of biopsychology, of the way that people think, the things that people need to hear to buy, and the things that you need to have in place as a business, then yeah, there are 100% sometimes some things that are literally missing in your business. And you don't always know what you don't know. So I'm going to dive into this today. And let's tackle, first of all, this energetic that something is missing or it would be working already. And I want you just to acknowledge within yourself, how often are you thinking this? Is this like a running energy that you're always holding in your business? This contractive, always looking, always searching. It can feel very urgent. It can feel very incomplete. Maybe you notice it when you're scrolling and you might notice yourself comparing yourself to other people. You might notice it when it comes to working on your business and you just have this feeling that something is missing, that you feel like you can't achieve what you want to achieve until some secret gap gets plugged in. I'm very curious for you to get curious within yourself exactly when and how it shows up for you. Because it's one thing to talk about this very generally, but the most powerful shift that I can give you today is for you to truly know when and where in your business it actually comes up for you so that you can pinpoint it. And then these downloads that I'm going to give you in this transmission I'm going to give you gives you the shift that you need when you need it. So just take a minute to contemplate that for a second. And I want to look at the question. The quality of your life is determined by the quality of the questions that you ask. I'll say that again. The quality of your life is determined by the quality of your questions. And any facet of your life, including your business. So if you're saying something is missing, it would be working already. You're kind of asking the question, what is missing? Why isn't it working already? Maybe you've asked that question. And I want to offer, coach to coach, is that a good question? Is that a kind of question you would ask your clients? Probably not. Really notice that, the energetic of the question. There's a reason it doesn't make you feel good. It's not a high quality question. How good is this, right? Just become aware of it. Make that shift. Notice the questions that you are asking yourself. Notice the statements that you're making about yourself, your business, your identity, about how capable you are of making money, about where your next client is coming from, about knowing what to do, knowing what to say, knowing how to be in your business. If the frequency of the questions you're asking and if the frequency of the statements that you're making about yourself are low value statements or questions, you're going to get a low value response by way of the law of attraction, by way of the answers that you give yourself, by way of the way that you end up responding as a result to those questions. Isn't it leading? Imagine somebody that you love, a friend, a partner, saying to you, what's missing in our relationship? You naturally look for what's missing. It assumes that something is even missing. That's a leading question. Rule 101 of coaching, we don't ask leading questions. So be onto yourself. Notice the lack mentality. Notice the scarcity that's inherent in such a statement, and bring yourself back into your power. The second thing I want to highlight here is, now that you've had that awareness, you're probably thinking, I don't want to stay here, I want to move on, but I just stay with me for a second longer, because there is so much value in staying with the problem before we jump into the solution. Because the longer we can stay with the problem, naturally the solution wants to shine through. That's the nature. I swear it's one of the laws of the universe. It's absolutely what Wayne Dyer speaks about in The Power of Intention: expansion, evolution, beauty. It's all inherent in this existence on Earth. So when we stay with the problem, it allows the solution to naturally flourish, versus forcing a solution, looking for a way out, we're back in the same problem. So the second element to this statement of something is missing, it's not working, I want you to notice the very subtle layer of expectation, of entitlement that comes from that question. It's coming from a place of, where are my results? I should have them by now. Why don't I have what I want? It's a little bit spoiled. And it's an interesting dynamic, this, because on one hand, I never want you to dull down your desires. I want you to celebrate your desires. I want you to be in the possibility and the abundance and the power of connecting to desire from a really clean place. And that's a really powerful thing to be able to do. But also notice the flavor of entitlement, of expectation, of wanting something when maybe we haven't quite earned it yet. This is such nuanced discussion, because I'm not saying that you have to earn clients and money. I'm not saying you have to earn success in the traditional sense, which a lot of you are going to automatically want to subconsciously translate as do more, work harder, be in the game for longer, have more certifications, have more qualifications, because that's also actually just perpetuating the same problem. But also, how is it true that what you're doing in your business, not as a reflection of your intrinsic self-worth and your intrinsic worthiness and enoughness as a human and as a soul living a human experience, but in the context of business dynamics, of actually, do you have things in place that are an absolute no-brainer for people to buy from you? Are you actually clear on your offer? Are you 100% confident about the price? Are you really clear about what the transformation is? Have you taken the time to sit down and really put the thought into it, so that when somebody comes up to you and says, oh, what are you about? And they come into your feed, or maybe they come into your website page, or they bump into you at an event, or meet you at a networking event, or get chatting to you in person through a friend, you have something solid, confident, grounded, and certain to say about what you do, how you help, and the process in which you can take somebody through. If you're thinking, oh, okay, yeah, now I don't have any of that. I'm stressed about my niche. I don't have my ideal client avatar sorted. I'm still figuring out what to call my website. I still haven't done this. I still haven't done that. Be onto yourself. Maybe those are the things that are missing. And you just need to sit down and do the work. And that's okay. Again, there's no judgment here. It's just notice where on one hand, we're in this energy of like, why hasn't it happened yet? And then on the other hand, you're like not doing it. Like we need both. You need to show up and you need to be giving both fully. And then if it's still not happening, then it truly is a purely energetic thing. Maybe there is something subconscious there. Maybe there is something much deeper that we need to look at. But can you be truly honest with yourself and say, I have really put not even my best foot forward, but have I actually put everything forward that I think is fair and reasonable to ask of somebody if I'm asking for a 3, 4, 5-figure investment from somebody? Think about it in that context. So be willing to look at yourself with a loving and unjudgmental, but straight down the line. Have I done the thing? Have I been able to present an offer that is purchasable? A kind of really, really simple baseline level. So just watch for that energy of expectation and entitlement. And I did a blog post. You can check it out on my website, www.coachingwithpamela.com. And the blog was called Business is a Zero Starting Salary. Like, think about that for a second. Like we could go through university as clueless with some brains, but actually no idea about life, get a degree at the age of 21 and land a job for like a 21K salary. And we would go into those graduate jobs going, this is amazing. And this is a shit salary. And I can't wait to go up the corporate career ladder and work my way up and get the title and the money and the benefits that I know I'm entitled to. The reason why we have this like subtle layer of entitlement is because we've been conditioned to expect that. This isn't your fault. This isn't you. You're not a bad person. You're a beautiful person. You're a good soul. But when you think about the way that we've been conditioned all of our careers to expect this from a career, then yeah, going into a business with a $0 starting salary, that can be a bit of a shock to the system. Be gentle with yourself. Remember that transition doesn't entitle you to anything, but what you bring to the table means that there's nothing to stop you from earning amazing money straight from the outset. You can hold both. So go check out that blog. It's on www.coachingwithpamela.com. I think it's /blog, but you'll find it in the free resources section. But have a read of that blog. It is really, really good. And it definitely, when I realized this, it gave me so much perspective. I was like, oh yeah, I guess like if a restaurant owner started a brand new restaurant, it would actually cost them money to start a business. We need to be more thankful that coaching has minimal overheads. All you need is a mobile phone, not even that, because my phone broke. It died a horrible death. I had the black screen of death a couple of weeks ago. My phone just wouldn't switch on for an entire weekend. And I thought it was just the universe telling me to have a break. But by Monday, I was like, we need to do something about this. And so I did. But it was so fascinating to see how that all unfolded. And I realized that that weekend, I didn't actually need my phone to do business. The only thing that suffered a little bit was my ability to go on stories. I actually can just do it from my laptop. Everything I can do from my laptop. You can schedule via Meta. I could send my emails. I can update my website. I can coach on Zoom. I actually don't need a phone. But whether it's a phone or a laptop, I digress. The point is, a coaching business is literally zero overheads or minimal overheads that you're probably already spending. You already have a laptop. You already have a mobile phone that you pay a subscription for. Social media is free. You can create free events. You can have people meet you in the park, come to your house. You don't have to have any overheads if you even want to do an in-person coaching business. Zoom has a free account if you decided to make your meetings less than 40 minutes. You can do it on Google Meets for free if you really wanted to. You could have an Excel spreadsheet to keep track of your clients. This is the thing though. This is the slight, not catch, but something I want you to be mindful of. Something that has very, very low barriers to entry tends to have quite a high barrier to success. That means that success isn't guaranteed. It isn't there for everybody. You've got to be willing to put in the work. And when I say that, don't fall into that hustle mentality. Don't be afraid of hard work either. This is another duality that I want you to be aware of. You can work hard, love what you do, and still get your work done in the space of 1 or 2 hours. Get in, get out, go and enjoy your life. You can work damn hard and never burn out. So be mindful if working hard and burning out are synonymous for you, because we need to do some deep inner work to pull that apart. Probably need to unpick a few nasty habits and behaviors that you've got into over the years working in corporate, and start to unpick some of these things that you've conditioned yourself with over a period of time, and start to realize that you can work damn hard, love every second of that process, and be in and out of your business in a matter of hours and get the results that you want, create the abundance that you want, see it working right before your eyes. The other thing that comes with that question, something is missing, it would be working already, is this concept of, if it's missing, it inherently insinuates that it's outside of yourself. Now, I am going to tell you the cliche, everything you need is within. And I do believe that is true to a degree. And there's a reason my clients hire me to learn the business side of things. Because if they've never been in business before, they've never built a coaching business before, and if they've never been in a revenue generating role before, it is highly likely that you do not know all the things that you possibly could do with knowing when it comes to the foundational basics of starting and growing a coaching business. Because having the ability and the skill to coach is a different skill set to marketing and selling. Do not mistake the two. Even though I regularly say marketing and selling is a form of coaching, and it is a beautiful mindset to have, but the practicalities behind that, then yeah, there are some things that maybe you've never come across before, that you've never thought about before, that you've never had to think in a business way, in a business-minded way. You've never had to think about the products or services that you're exchanging with someone requires an element of going to market, of selling, of knowing the value of something, of knowing how to communicate the value of something. And it's a little bit ironic, because even though we've all been employees in an organization, we completely bypass the fact that the only reason we would ever be an employee is if on some level we are contributing to the bottom line of a business revenue. I know lots of people who have coached with me, who come to me very upset when their companies make them redundant, or when their job is no longer, or their job's been redesigned or refashioned in some way because the business no longer needs it, or the business is going in a different direction. Just as your company doesn't owe you loyalty, it simply owes you what it agreed in the contract, which it can terminate at any time. Neither does your business owe you success. This is something to remember, because anytime you give your power to a 9-to-5, you give your safety to something outside of yourself, like the security of your salary, like the given that you're going to keep your 9-to-5 job when they could take it away from you any second, or giving your power away to the things that you think are missing. Maybe you think something's missing, like that secret that coach keeps talking about in her marketing that she wants you to buy her program for, or that secret that means that somebody's able to show up more powerfully and potently than you, and you think that they're more motivated and more inspired and they have all these beautiful ideas and they're so much better than you, when actually they have nothing that you don't have. So notice if the energetic of that question, something's missing or it should be working together, is you basically looking outside of yourself for something. Because that's when you want to check yourself. And there's a reason I dove into the energetics before I dove into the strategic, because I have seen it happen time and time again. You can hand somebody the strategic, you can tell somebody what to do, but if they continue to persist in feeling and believing that something is missing or it should be working already, then that's going to continue to be their truth, even if they have everything they could possibly have. And so, especially when you've been in it for a hot second, when you've been coaching for a couple of years, you've been around the block a few times with your favorite coaches, you're seeing them starting to sell the same things, and they're cycling, and they're on year 2 or 3, and you're seeing them revamping their programs, and they're bringing out new things, and that things are elevating, and you think that you're standing still and you feel like you haven't grown. I'm telling you right this second, they don't have anything that you don't have. They're just willing to move, even when they feel like something is missing. That is the difference between you and them. They don't go looking for it. They decide they already have it, even when that feels hard to believe. What would happen if you decided that there was nothing missing? Who would you have to become to connect to the truth, to connect to the energy and the frequency that it is working already? There is nothing missing, and I just have to keep going. I know you've seen the visual of the picture of the two men who are digging for gold, and one gives up, and he is just feet away from landing on the diamond. And the other guy keeps digging and digging and digging. And the irony, the diamond's actually deeper for the other guy, but hey, he keeps hunting anyway. He doesn't give up, he doesn't quit. And here's the other layer of that dynamic. Even if you're still going in your coaching business, if you are staying and persisting in the energy of it should be working already, it isn't working, when will I be good enough, what am I missing? You're already quitting on yourself, because the truth is, if it is already inside you, if everything you need is already there and it already exists, which it does, then you're basically just choosing to quit on yourself. You're choosing to ignore the truth. You're choosing to not step into your power. You're choosing to continue to give your power away. This doesn't feel good. This doesn't feel very nice for me to say. But I'm not scared to say it to you, because sometimes we need to hear it to realize what we're doing to ourselves. And here's the thing. It isn't a one and done. It never is. This is a choice that you're going to come back to again and again and again, a decision that you get to make about who you are, your self-concept, your belief in yourself. Belief work is everything. I know you know this as a coach. So that being said, if you know that you've done the things, you've learned the processes, you've been in the strategic programs, you've got all the knowledge under your belt, you have all the know-how, but something still isn't clicking, still not translating, then this could be a sign to step into one-to-one, to get that somebody looking at your blind spots, somebody to go through that deep subconscious work with you. And of course, I'd be remiss to not flag one-to-one with me. Thrive, my one-to-one program, is perfect for this. So if you want to do this work and take it to another level and realize that what you need is within, and step into that self-concept and that energetic embodiment and actually do the work and have the support of me to remind you of this as often and as frequently as you need it, and then to have the implementable steps to actually put it into action, then go ahead and book your consult ASAP. But now let's move on to the second aspect of this episode. What if something is missing? Okay, the duality. I know I've mentioned this a little bit already in the episode, but I'm going to dive into it. I've got 3 key concepts for you. Number 1, your ability to troubleshoot. Fundamentally, this comes back to the energetics. When you're in that slightly, let's face it, scarcity, victim mentality of nothing's working, what am I missing? Then you're not operating from your power. You're not operating from your CEO embodiment. You're not actually in a position to troubleshoot, but troubleshoot you must. If you genuinely are stumped and you're thinking, why aren't I selling? And I'm doing all the things and I have my offer and I have my price and I love what I do and I know who it's for and I know what it's about. Are you troubleshooting? Do you know how to troubleshoot? I'm not going to go into that right now because that's stuff I give to my clients. And I don't have the capacity to do that on this episode because that would be its own other episode. But if you don't know how to troubleshoot in your business, then that's definitely something that you potentially could do with upskilling in, because when you know what to look for, it's a lot easier to notice when and if something actually is missing. The second piece is, I kind of mentioned it earlier, but if this is the first time you've ever built a business, and at that, a coaching business, some of my clients have sold products before, but they've never sold services. Ironically, lots of my clients have done lots of selling and lots of client management and revenue management for their organization, for their 9 to 5, but translating that into what that means in their coaching business is new territory. And it might well be that there are business gaps that you're not realizing. I've given you some ideas already. This piece around the offer, like, no brainer. You need to have a solid offer that you're confident, comfortable, grounded, certain about. What comes with the offer? Knowing who it's for, knowing what the transformation is, knowing what the process is. You cannot escape these things. And if you're avoiding them in your business, if you're flitting from offer to offer, if you're changing your mind about price, if you're constantly looking at ways to add more to the program, or you feel like you need all the back-end systems to make it look good and impressive, if you find that you're wasting time on things like branding and your bio and tinkering with a website that still isn't live, or doing lots of things that keep you busy that feel very important but aren't actually client generating activities, then it's possible that you have kind of convince yourself that to focus on some things in your business, and you're actively either avoiding, procrastinating, or just outright not even aware of the things that you want to be doing. I always call this busyness isn't business. So be watchful of that. And again, very good invitation here for me to remind you that if you want the business coaching side, then of course we cover that inside the one-to-one program as well. So you can go ahead and book your consult for that if you're thinking, okay, yeah, now she's hitting the mark and we really need to do something about this. The other piece is, sometimes it isn't that you are missing per se anything. By the way, I'm very curious to know if you can hear the dinosaurs in the background. The birds here are wild. It's that time of the evening where it's like just before the sun sets, the birds go absolutely mental, as they do at sunrise as well, but they are on one right now. So I'm wondering if it's coming through the mic. Apologies in advance if it's slightly distracting. It is just distracting me, but let me get back to it. So the other thing is, sometimes nothing is missing. Sometimes you actually do have all the components in place. But what if it's just a matter of refinement? Those of you who were inside my Decided Mastermind will know all about this. We make powerful decisions. We go ahead and execute on them. We evaluate what worked about them, what didn't. And from those evaluations, and if you're not evaluating in your business, then this is an invitation to do so. That could be the thing that's missing. And if you've never done an evaluation before and you don't know how, then come and work with me and I'll show you. But being able to look at what you are doing from a place of love, from a place of compassion, from a place of asking high value questions, such as, let's have a look. How can we shift? It would be working already. Something's missing, to something that's high valued and empowered. How about the question, if it was already working, what can I magnify? What could I elevate? What could I be doing more of? That's a high quality question. Answer that for yourself right this second. If it was already working, what could you elevate? What could you magnify? What is already working? How fun, how good does that question feel? Oh, it just brings me alive to say it. Ask yourself high quality questions, you're going to get high quality answers. But with that question, notice it's probably not something brand new you need to implement. What it is a 1% refinement, 1% improvement every time. That 1% shift over a timeline completely changes the trajectory of your business and of your bank account and of your self-concept. How exciting is that? What if it's nothing new, nothing fundamental? You're already doing all the things. This especially applies to you if you've been in the business for a hot minute, but it is just that 1% refinement. So I hope that that gave you lots to think about, lots to go and do and implement. And if you want to come do this work with me, if you love the way I'm thinking, if you know that you need this kind of energy, this level of thinking in your business every day, then come and join me one-to-one inside my Thrive program that has just had a major glow up. The Thrive Online aspect, which is the entire online portal for you to access during the duration of the container, has had a glow up, and it's now Thrive 2.0. All of the modules have some, actually, I'll rephrase that. Some of the modules have been migrated from the original Thrive, the ones that I feel don't need to change, but there is at least 50% that is being added that has never before been seen, that I've never communicated in this way. Things that I've been doing with my one-to-ones all this time anyway, but now I'm finally sat down and actually delivered as trainings so that you can go into those trainings, get the up levels, get the transmissions, go and implement, and then bring it to coaching for that refinement piece. It's very exciting. So if you want to book your consult with me, go to www.coachingwithpamela.com/thrive in capital letters. I'm going to put the link in the show notes. Drop me a DM if you loved this episode, if this opened up something for you. And thank you so much for joining me. As always, I'll see you in another episode.